I'm sure it won't really matter.
I don't think so
If
either.
anything, it actually might improve things. So there's really no way to know until you try.
Exactly, yeah. So,
So,
we're live.
ah,
Hey, I know. So, if you don't mind, can you go
I'm
check?
getting it.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And can you send me the link? Because I'll just post it on my Facebook as well.
Yeah. I just muted us. Actually, I should make sure. Okay, yeah.
Sweet.
No, we have audio in the stream, so that's good.
Yeah.
And I guess I shouldn't send it to you on Discord. Oh no, you're using the pop-out Discord, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to double check that now. If I could get my mouse to go there. And, okay, I'm just moving that
Well, I'm
there.
gonna post in general, but if you're not using pop-out, I'll post it on to, like Facebook or something.
Okay, sounds good. Actually, by the looks of it, the video might be lagging for a second. Is pop out lagging?
Oh,
Do you see that? Oh no,
yeah.
it's back to normal. Now it's back to normal.
Mm,
Oh, well, it's gonna be delayed by a little bit. Actually, it's doing it again. Oh, it's anytime I do something. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly do this. So if you
oh,
sent
it
it to
paused
Discord,
because you moved out of it?
yeah. So that's what it is. So just bear with me for a
Okay.
second. I will get in. You sent the. Where did you send the
Hi,
video?
Jason.
Perfect. Jason's here. That's exciting.
He's first.
He is. All right, so I'm just gonna post this on Facebook. Push to 4K subs live stream. So how you been, Kevin?
I've been good. Been good. Um, Working a lot and doing other things. But I mean, it's still things are finally starting to get back to kind of normal. So I've been, seeing some friends, which haven't really been able to do, and it's been nice. It's been, yeah. So
It's yeah. What we've gone through in the past year and a half is just it's so strange. It's nice that things are finally starting to open back up again. I what I want though is I want just I want tech to start like being produced and manufactured again at a level that's like what it was before, so that we can get all the tech that we wanted. I mean, that's the very selfish gamer needs, but it's what I want because I don't have a
yeah,
PS5. Whereas, you know, if
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, chip shortages have been such a problem for like all these things that are getting manufactured. And I mean, it's not even just like it's like everything. It's
yeah,
phones, tablets,
yeah,
consoles,
cars and
the
things like
whole
that, there's a bunch of
yeah,
everything.
and I mean, I'm sure it's not even just chip shortage. I'm sure there's all kinds of other industries that have been hit
Yeah,
similarly. I think there were issues with shoe manufacturing even for a while.
really, that's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because if they're not making specific parts, right? That's the thing. And then mail is like Amazon. I pay for Amazon Prime, and it's like, okay, I'll buy this. And some things it'll be 2 days, which is normal, what it should be. But then I pre-order something, and normally it would come on the day of, or even a day before, which was, I mean, that's extremely amazing service. But I pre-ordered The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword,
Yeah, you
and
did.
and I pre-ordered that the day one, right, on Amazon. When I had Amazon Prime, I still have Amazon Prime, and the date that it was going to get here was today, or in 2 days from now, like from 20th to 22nd. And then I looked to see if I bought it a day before that it came out, it would have came 2 days earlier. So I pre-ordered it before, and they were saying that like, oh, like if you get another version of it right now, it'll come earlier than the other one, but still not on launch day. So
Yeah.
so I just went and bought it. And hello, Faith and Misery, how you doing?
Howdy. Um, yeah, it's kind of weird, just how sometimes pre-ordering things doesn't actually guarantee you that you're gonna get. Like, I kept watching and watching and watching because I had obviously I had an Amazon pre-order for my Amiibo as well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and I was like, I wonder if they're gonna ship it out on like Wednesday or something, because it's gonna take a little time to get to me, right? So like I didn't know whether they're allowed to do that, like offset the shipping based on like the release or whatever.
I
So because I haven't really done any pre-orders particularly through Amazon before.
sometimes like before a year ago, like I would sometimes get things a day early. Like a video game might come out a day early or something like that. Or Omnibus, for example, would Omnibus still sometimes comes out a day early, but I think that that's just because they got the shipments for whatever reason. As soon as they get them, they're allowed to just ship them out. Especially
Do you
DC.
order? Do you order those on Amazon?
Some on Amazon, some on Chapters. It depends. Chapters used to
Mm,
be the best place because they had like a buy two get one free sale, and because I'm part of the Plus rewards or whatever. I get another 10%, and then there's always a
right.
code for another 10%. So you get 20% plus it's a buy two get one free sale. So that was the best, but they haven't done one in like I don't know since last August. So we've been
Yeah,
waiting
that.
now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess all those perks kind of go away when you're hemorrhaging money.
Unfortunately. And
Yeah.
that's the same, but that's weird that Amazon, who has been doing fantastically well in the past
Hmm.
year, like they've been booming. Um, they're just we didn't get an E3 deal this year. Like we haven't gotten one. Is it 2 years or 3 years now?
It's been a few. I'm leaning three, but
Yeah,
it's
those were
definitely been a while.
those were sweet too. That was also buy two get one free essentially at the same time.
Yeah.
It was always like
Those were amazing.
yeah, they really were. I miss those days.
Yeah.
We would pre-order like 20 games and end up buying like 10 or something like that. For me, anyway,
Yeah.
I ended up getting 10. And the one
Yeah.
time when Xenoblade Chronicles X had like a misprint and it went down to like $15 or $14,
Yeah.
and then I still got the percentage off. So I think with tax and shipping, it was like 13 or something like that. It was
That's
ridiculous.
insane.
Yeah, yeah. Those
Yeah,
were
no,
the days.
that was definitely good times. I mean, on one hand, I miss that. Just being able to get those games for cheaper, like being able to pre-order games at already discounted prices when they launch was just
Ugh.
so cool in itself.
Yep.
But I mean, you had to order, I think, three at a time for it to work.
Yep. And you had to
But
keep those three, didn't you? I feel like you had to keep those three.
yeah, they had to all be kind of like part of the same order. So we'd end up putting in like sets of threes,
Yep.
and then like the ones we were less certain we'd want, we'd package together. And so,
God, there was a whole
um,
method to it. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, at the same time, while I kind of miss it because I obviously like the idea of getting games cheaper when they come out.
Yep.
Um, I don't have the time to play that quantity of games these days. So
No.
like.
Yeah.
So it's kind of you win some, you lose some, and then with other services, which I don't know if we're planning to talk about or anything like that, but um, I mean, like on Xbox, I don't buy games for the most part. Like,
Well, there's no real reason with Game Pass, really.
I mean, I might buy some third-party games or whatever, but obviously with Microsoft stuff, I'm just playing it on Game Pass. Like if I really want to, I'll pick it up later,
Hmm.
but not at full price. Like I'll wait for it to be $20 and then I'll nab it.
Exactly. There's no point because there's so many other games that we can play in the meantime for them. There's no reason unless it's something really big that like just blows us away kind of thing. Then it might be worth it. But I kind of have time to a degree because I'm putting in like 2 to 3 hours a day on Apex. So I have the time. I
A lot of
just
events.
but it's only Apex. It's like as soon as I get addicted to something because I feel like with you Breath of the Wild, you made time when that first came out.
Yeah, and I mean, me saying that I don't have time is also kind of not really true. It's just a matter of the time that I have, what do I want to spend it
It,
doing? And
exactly. Yeah. So
um,
if it's something
and I mean, I watch a bit of TV. I definitely like to keep my TV stuff in rotation. I'm always watching something. I
yeah.
usually have a comedy and a drama that I'm
Hmm.
watching, and then I'll start a new one after I finish them. But like I mean, I've been doing game development stuff. That's been taking up a lot of my evening time that I typically would have been playing games. Now I'm spending them, in Unity or whatever,
Hmm.
or maybe working on art or something. So I'm spreading it around a little more than maybe I did, 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm the same way, but like, that's the thing is that if there's a game that really interests me, and I think it's the same thing for you, then I'll be like much more inclined because I get it, not necessarily addicted to it. I'm much more motivated to play specific games than I was when I was. Imagine 2 to 3 hours of playing Legend of Dragoon. That would be the
Yeah,
best way to live your life right there, playing Legend of
yeah,
Dragoon for 2 to 3 hours a day until you
yeah.
beat the game, and then it's just sad.
And
It's over.
I'm totally okay with this trend of like somewhat shorter games that have been coming
Oh,
out as well. Like these really strong narrative games that are maybe in the 8 to 15 hour
yep,
range.
yep,
Like I don't need every game that I play to be 50 to 100 hours. I actually physically don't have time for that.
yeah,
But
yep.
unless
Well, unless it's Zelda. And
unless it's Zelda.
in
But
which
again, I
case,
just
then
don't
you want like it to be crazy big.
I want some of those games to be big. Like I'm recently got Skyward Sword. Once I
Yeah,
start playing that, I'm gonna sink, 50 hours probably into that game, and I'm gonna be
yeah.
damn happy to do it. But like, I mean, I just played Ratchet and Clank, or I haven't quite finished it, but I'm almost finished it.
You're close to the end though, aren't you? I think.
Yeah, I just have to go and do the end sequence. Like I'm at a point where I go talk to somebody and I know based on what the game has told me, once I talk to them, it's going to initiate the end of the game.
Okay. Now,
So,
I have a question for that then. Is that do you find that Ratchet and Clank seems very next gen
um,
with the warping of worlds and stuff like that? Like that seems pretty seamless.
it is pretty seamless. I would say it's definitely impressive. I don't think it's necessarily it's the closest thing to next gen, I guess that we've seen so far.
Okay.
But I think at some level it was probably possible before. Um,
Yeah.
maybe like maybe not quite as fast as it's being done in Ratchet and Clank. But I mean, there were other games that did a similar. Didn't Titanfall 2 have like a mechanic that kind of jumped?
I never played
Uh,
Titanfall, so I don't know. Or okay, I played
okay,
Titanfall 1 and I played a lot of Titanfall. Titanfall 1 was fun. I should have played Titanfall 2. Apparently Titanfall 2 is better.
yeah, I've heard that. I think it's on Game Pass.
I picked it up for $5 brand new at one point from like EB Games. So
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, sweet." And that actually has a campaign that's like 5 hours long. And I'm not and so I should totally be playing it because I always thought that if that had an actual single player campaign, it would be fun. They haven't
yeah, totally.
so
So, but I mean, on one hand, it's like so there's Ratchet and Clank, which is, I don't know, 12 to 15 hours probably.
yeah.
Which is great. I think that's actually a perfectly good length. I'm very happy with that.
Hmm.
But it's still a $90 game now. Like 90 plus tax here in Canada anyway, 70 in the States.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, that little price boost isn't like a huge amount, but it does make me sort of think like if I'm going to be playing games that are in that sort of 8, 10, 15 hour range as a general rule. I don't know that I want to be paying like Ratchet and Clank, I love the series, so I was happy, I was fine with that. But as a general rule, I don't know that I want to drop $90 for 10 hours unless it's like super, super high quality, which I think Ratchet and Clank arguably is, but
Something like
I don't know.
Uncharted or something like that you know you've loved before and kind of thing. And like Uncharted is relatively short, although there is a multiplayer component to it. But
Yeah, I might
you know,
be less inclined to jump into a new world that I'm not convinced I'm going to enjoy,
yes, yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
to take a chance on something. Whereas the Game Pass model really just lets me dive into anything. I mean, I don't have to pay any entrance costs to play those games. So if it's only 8 hours long, it's 8 hours long. I mean, I didn't pay anything. Like, I mean, I paid my monthly subscription,
yeah,
but
yeah. You
I don't
haven't
know.
paid
Like,
anything extra. Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, Ratchet and Clank is really, really good. So even if it's not the most next gen feeling, I guess, uh, it's still a very, very good game,
yeah,
and I've had a lot of fun with it.
yeah.
So,
I'm
um,
looking forward to if I get a PS5. Like that's gonna be one. Well, here's the thing though, is that I feel like Ratchet and Clank will go down in price. relatively
Oh, it will. It
soon,
will.
right? So that's why I kind of want to hold off from getting that right away. But I have to pick up. I do have Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, so I could play that, and I definitely will. But I feel like I need one other game to go along with that, and I'm trying to think: should it be Miles Morales? Should it be
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank? That's the other only other games that I'm interested in would be Returnal, but I don't want to pay full price for Returnal.
I'm
And
in the same boat. I'm interested in getting Returnal later once it's not $90.
I also feel like Sackboy I want, but I feel like give that like a year and a half, and that's like a year and a half from launch date. So probably by next year around this time, I feel like that's gonna be 20-30 bucks.
Yeah.
I can't see
Yeah, I mean,
Sackboy
totally.
retaining its value. I don't see that happening.
No. I mean, I almost picked up Sackboy like back at the launch
Didn't you
because I
pick it up
was
and then you
like,
brought it back, or did
yeah,
you?
well, actually, yeah, I did. I ended up I bought it and then I hadn't opened it. I took it back and I traded it. And I don't remember for what.
Did you did what games do you have on PS5 right now?
I have Spider-Man, Miles Morales,
Yeah.
but I have the version that includes the remaster of the 2018 game.
What happens if you have the 2018 game on PS4?
You don't get anything.
So you have to get the newer version to get
Yeah, so
the
Miles
the pack. Okay.
Morales is like $65, I think.
Yeah.
But if you buy the one with the remaster, it's $90, but you get the remastered version of Spider-Man. And then I turned around and sold Spider-Man for $20. So
Oh,
essentially, like
yeah, you got
it worked out.
yeah, you got the exact same game with the remaster.
Yeah, but I got the better version of it.
Yeah,
And then I
exactly.
and then I replayed it. It was
Yeah.
the first thing I played on my PlayStation 5.
Did you feel that was like a bigger? Was it a nice upgrade?
It actually was a nice upgrade. The frame rate's improved. I don't know if the resolution is, but there's ray tracing in it, which is nice. So you get some
Yeah.
really cool like reflections in the skyscraper windows. They're not super high resolution ray tracing,
Yeah.
but it does look nice. And there's no two ways about it. It doesn't, I mean, the ray tracing capabilities of these new systems is semi-limited to start with anyways. Like we don't really know how powerful the ray tracing is. But I mean, PCs have a hard time with ray tracing, so uh, I have a hard time believing it's going to be like super like highly leveraged in a lot of games.
Excuse me.
So it
Yeah.
might not be the best use of the power of the hardware in most cases. So,
I'm
but I,
interested to see what because I feel like right now we're just at the very beginning. A lot of these games could obviously have been on PlayStation 4 or
yeah,
Xbox One. I'm interested to see like in 3 years from now, or honestly, Grand Theft Auto and Elder Scrolls 6. Both those games, I just want to see what they're going to look like. Elder Scrolls, I don't think will push the game push it too much. I don't think it would, but Grand Theft Auto might.
it might.
Red Dead
I remember,
Red Dead was a big improvement from like Grand Theft Auto 5,
yeah,
which came out in 2013, was like amazing for the Xbox 360 and PS3. And then when we got the Red Dead Redemption, I thought that was one of the better looking games on Xbox. Red Dead Redemption 2, that was one of the better games on Xbox One and PS4.
yeah, totally. There was a, I mean, Red Dead Redemption is definitely a really, really good looking game.
Hmm.
I mean, there's no two ways about it. I didn't particularly like the game. I mean, I thought the story was really good, but I didn't love the gameplay.
Yeah.
But
It,
I mean, it's a stunning game. There's no two ways about it.
when you're walking around in the world, it feels like one of the most realistic world. I don't know. Like I felt it was very immersive in the sense that it felt like I was actually there, which is
Yeah,
what you want in a video game.
yeah, I can see that. I think for me, it kind of boils down to like a little bit of what I've felt with most of Rockstar's games, but
Uh,
the movement of their characters is sluggish to me, and I don't
and when you're
really understand
yeah,
why.
yeah, uh, it's always been like that, and I don't like it. It worked back in PS2 era, but like after that,
Yeah,
they should have
like I
started focusing on
yeah.
fixing that.
yeah, like I played the entirety of Grand Theft Auto 5, and I love Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yes.
But I mean, it's definitely in that game too. Like the same sort of, you know, really sluggish, sort of lumbering movement. Um, I would hope that they make the players, I don't know, just move a little nicer in the future. Like I feel like that's an opportunity for them to definitely improve. I felt
Yeah.
even the horse movement in Red Dead Redemption didn't feel the greatest.
It's just like driving a car in Grand Theft Auto 5. I feel it's the same thing, and Jason's saying it too. The gameplay did feel outdated for Red Dead Redemption 2, but the cinematic perspective was amazing, and I agree with that too. I think it's just
100%.
if they just get the controls right, so that like it just doesn't feel sluggish. You nailed it on the head with that. And it's the same thing with GTA. I don't like when I'm running around and then I get into a car and the cars. It should feel like I don't know, Forza Motorsport or no, Forza Horizon. I feel like if it
Yeah,
felt like that, oh man, that'd be amazing.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, not speaking of that, but speaking of driving things, I'm really excited for Flight Simulator on the Xbox. I want to
Yeah,
try that.
same.
It's probably much better on PC, and I should get that. Wait, do we with the Game Pass that we have? Is that PC as well?
Yeah. You have Ultimate, right?
I believe so. I don't see why I wouldn't.
Well, do you pay like
I did. I
$17 a month or do you pay like 12?
I did the year thing where
Oh, right, right, right.
where I changed my Xbox Live to that.
Yeah. They don't actually do that anymore. They
I
ended that
know
promotion.
those sons.
So you got in like right at the right time.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't know which. Well, wait, hold on. If you upgraded for you did the dollar upgrade thing, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. So I did the Xbox Live for 1 year, and then I didn't
Yeah.
know that I could just do. I thought I could just do add another year afterwards. I just wanted to make sure that it was working, and then I found out that I couldn't add the other 2 years after. So I only had the 1 year. But what I did is online they had like these week passes,
Hmm.
and the week passes were really low in Europe or something. So I just ordered a bunch of those, and I added, and I have like a year and a half or something.
Nice.
So
Well, if that's the case, then you definitely have Ultimate then. So it includes the PC Game Pass. And I do believe Flight Simulator's on there. But the thing is, in this particular case, I don't really know. I can't say for sure,
yeah.
but I would actually guess that it might play better on your Series X than your PC.
But I feel like the controls would work almost better with a
I mean, the
keyboard and
controls might.
mouse. It's gonna be hard to say, right? Because the other thing too is it's a flight simulator. It's not like I'm gonna be like it's a jet simulator where I have to like maneuver a lot. It's probably gonna be like
Yeah, I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but I had heard that there are like more arcadey style controls that you can play with as well,
oh okay, that'd be kind of fun.
which kind
Well,
of sounds great to me because I'm not super into the actual simulator portion of it. Like I don't want to be fiddling with all the things, right? Like
no,
I just want to fly.
yeah. But
Um,
I did see that there's a Top Gun expansion or something
yeah,
releasing. That looks freaking awesome. That would be fun because then you could play with the remote controller, and it would be actually kind of fun. Also, I just want to say what Jason's been saying here. Except you can punch your horse and your horse will react and kick you. Punching a car would hurt, possibly blow up. Especially with Grand Theft Auto, you punch it once, it'll just catch on fire and explode, and then you'll have
yeah.
6 stars. They have a new thing with signing up for 3 years of gold, then converting it to ultimate when your GP runs out. Yeah, so that's but it's a percentage. So like if you do 1 year, it's like 3 months or something like that of Game Pass.
Yeah, they wised up. They were really giving it away.
They
Like
really were. Yeah.
I when they first started doing that, take all your Xbox Live Gold time and upgrade it for $1 to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
Hmm.
I loaded up. I mean, I didn't do 3 years, but I did 2 years, and then I converted that over. I ended up with like 26 months or something like that of
Hmm.
Game Pass Ultimate, which recently ran out because I've had Game Pass for years now. But but yeah, like I'm paying full monthly price for it now, which is still honestly a deal. It's like
It is. It
like
is.
16.99. plus tax, I think.
And you're getting you're getting to play online, which costs already like $60 a year. So you take that
Yeah,
off as the price, then it's still a good deal. I I mean I always tried to fight against Game Pass because I just don't like the idea of it. But at the same time, well, I don't like the idea of it because I know that it's going to hurt physical sales so much.
yeah,
But I feel like this is going to help Microsoft so much against the race against PlayStation 5. I would be very curious to see, like in November, where we're at with PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, to see
yeah,
how well everybody's doing. Because I think in the long run, Game Pass right now it's a nice deal, but there's not a lot of new stuff coming for it because there's not a lot of big video games coming out for the Xbox Series at the moment. At the moment,
yeah. Their studios aren't really going yet, but they're
no,
close.
like
They're
next year but then by 2023, like holiday season 2022, I feel like Bethesda to me is gonna be their saving grace in that sense, like especially when Elder Scrolls 5 and what is it called, Starfield, I think. No, it was upping your Xbox Live Gold to 36 months, then spending $15 to convert your Gold to Ultimate. Since they have $100 for a year, it's $195 for 3 years. Oh, that's not bad. But if I already have 1 year, what do I do then? What do I do then, Jason? We need answers now. Hop in for 5 seconds, just answer, and
you're
then
shit out of luck.
peace out. Yeah, you should.
Yeah,
pretty
no, I
much am.
think Bethesda's going to be huge for Microsoft. There's no two ways about it. Like, I mean, you look at like even their E3 show. Like they opened on a Bethesda title, they closed on a Bethesda title, and I think they had another one in the middle, and then they had updates for like ESO and
Yep.
Fallout 76, and
Yep.
I mean, they're barely scratching the surface of what they could do. Like, so you got Deathloop that's coming out on the PS5 soon. That's going to be a exclusive for I think a year, probably at least.
Yeah. And then Game
Um,
Pass.
and then Ghostwire Tokyo is the same thing, but that got delayed into next year. I think that's made by
Oh, Ghostwire. I didn't know that Ghostwire was an exclusive. I thought it was just an exclusive for PlayStation. I didn't know that it was actually just. Wait, who makes Ghostwire?
Ghostwire Tokyo is made by Tango Gameworks. Microsoft owns that studio now.
God, that's awesome.
So So Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo were actually very similar situations, exclusive to the PlayStation 5, but Microsoft now owns the studios.
I
So you
Ghostwire.
would ex
Go ahead.
you would expect that those are probably going to come out to Game Pass in probably a year.
Yeah. No, definitely. And this Ghostwire Tokyo has a very PlayStation-y vibe to it, which is awesome. That now Microsoft owns a studio that can kind of compete with a lot of PlayStation 5 exclusives. That I think is genius. Because
Yeah.
Bethesda has always been a third party, and it doesn't feel like Xbox or PlayStation. I would argue that it feels a little bit more like Xbox. I feel like, excuse me, I've got Corona. I don't. I better not. Um, um, but I feel that like Bethesda kind of feels a little bit more at home on the Xbox, but it still was a multi-plat. And whereas Ghostwire Tokyo, to me, that just screamed PlayStation exclusive, and now we're gonna have that on the Xbox. That's crazy. I really think that Microsoft's gonna do really well like next year, and that's what I'm gonna be interested to see where the sales are at. I feel like PlayStation 5 might win this year, like
Yeah,
November
it's
2021.
going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, there's not as. I mean, Xbox continuously has like their systems going up for sale all the time, whereas
Yeah,
PlayStation
my
doesn't.
under- yeah, my understanding is that they're both selling through all the stock that they can make, but I
PlayStation.
think PlayStation's been able to manufacture more. They've just dumped it all in like bursts, a little more so than the Xbox has.
Oh, okay.
Because my understanding from like sales data and stuff that's been talked about on different shows, like podcasts and stuff that I watch, is that the PlayStation 5 is like the fastest selling all-time console through 8 months.
Well, Sony wins it this round, which is good for
So
them. And I want Sony to be successful too because I don't want it to ever be that there's no. I want Nintendo to continue forever. I want Microsoft to continue forever and Sony to continue forever. I don't want there to be I don't want a fourth though. I definitely don't
No,
want a fourth. We have
no.
definitely enough with those
I
three.
think I think the cool thing is that we're kind of living in a bit of a video game golden age in a sense, if you want to think about it. Because like, when have you ever really been able to like look to a time where you've got your three game manufacturers, platform holders, and all three of them are being are like really really successful, but they're all doing it in completely different ways.
Yeah, that's true, eh?
Like,
PlayStation has the brand name going for it, and the years of like service that people have and quality that like people have wanted from Sony, along with the exclusives, which is a big thing. Nintendo with
yeah,
the Switch and Microsoft with Game Pass.
yeah. And Game Pass really is the product, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like the Series X and the Series S and whatever, like whatever else they come out with, xCloud, television app or a stream stick or all the different possible, I mean, tablets, mobile phones, all these different things. Everything's just to get into Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not to say that they don't, consider the Series X, to be like a premier sort of, like, it is their like, along with PC, it is their flagship experience, right?
Yeah.
Um, but like Microsoft might be, I mean, I would assume if you were to ask them, like, in a moment of honesty, they would probably tell you, you know, PlayStation could outsell us, by 30 or 40% again this gen in unit sales. But if our Game Pass subscriptions are way the hell up there, like, we don't care.
And yeah,
Like, I mean, not that we don't care. Obviously, they want as many things out there as possible.
but it doesn't matter
But
to them.
but yeah, they're going to be making their money anyways. I mean, I've done basic math, like based on, people paying whatever sort of a median amount per month for like Game Pass. And you can see the way like it scales, right? Like, I think right now it's believed, I think there are somewhere around 25 million subscribers to Game Pass.
Yeah.
And it's going up like at a rate of like a million or more every month since basically the pandemic started.
It's yeah, it's gonna be up there, man. Like
And
they're do a
yeah,
million every month.
it'll probably pass 30 million before the end of the calendar year. Or maybe around the calendar end of the calendar year.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe so you start looking, that's really before any of them, like the only major gun that will be out by then, I guess, would be Halo Infinite, which is going to be a big boost
Yeah.
probably for Game Pass.
I assume so.
Although the multiplayer is free to play, so maybe. But and then Forza Horizon's a big one as well. So they've got those, but Microsoft has five first-party
Yeah.
games. This
What's the other three? I was thinking of that because I was like Halo, Forza.
um Jesus. Okay, Psychonauts 2 comes out in August,
Oh right. Okay.
and that game looks phenomenal actually.
It looks good, but I don't think it's gonna be getting anybody to subscribe.
Have you No, I would agree. But like not on its own, but as a
Yeah.
part of the
As
package.
part of the
Like, I could see
package,
it being a
yes.
draw.
Yeah, but like people are specifically gonna go get it for Halo. People probably will even go potentially get it for Forza Horizon because Forza does have a pretty big following,
Oh yeah.
and I think
And
Horizon
Forza
is.
Horizon honestly is the better of the
Oh,
Forza games.
Motors. God, Motorsport is just boring as hell. I know that there's people that like that kind of thing, but it's
Yeah.
not my style. What's the other
Yeah.
two then? What's the other two? You should
Ah,
know this.
I don't remember if they're first party actually, but um it was on that E3 graphic. I don't remember. I just remember them showing that there was a big release coming to Game Pass, like each of the last 5 months
It was a great.
of the year.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. I can't remember what the other two were. Have you seen the new story trailer for Psychonauts 2 that came out yesterday?
Okay, Flight Simulator was this
Oh,
month.
Flight Sim, yeah.
Psychonauts, Age of Empire 4.
Right. So yeah, not something that people will probably buy Game Pass for, but
No. Forza Horizon, then Halo Infinite. I hope Halo Infinite still comes out this year. Um, But we're getting a few things as well. I mean, we are still getting not first party, but we are getting like Hades in August. That's pretty big.
Yep.
I feel that that will probably get more people to play it than Psychonauts.
I mean, yeah, probably, but
But I
I
feel like at the same time you might if you like Hades, you probably already have it. So you might I don't know.
I gotta link you to that Psychonauts trailer from yesterday so you can see it, by the way.
Back for Blood, I feel like that's pretty big.
Yeah, actually, that going into Game Pass was a really big get. That's going to do really well on Game
I'm
Pass.
looking forward to that. That's gonna be like perfect. And Scorn, I think, would probably do pretty well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Scorn.
So
That's just sometime this fall, I believe,
yeah,
is when that's listed for.
yep.
I'm not interested in that personally, but I do know a lot of people. I do know several people who are actually kind of closely keeping an eye on that game. So I think it probably will do pretty well.
I
It's unique,
it's
if nothing else.
I don't even
Like
remember what it looks like. What does Scorn
it's
look like?
strange. Um,
Is it horror?
mm, I don't know. I don't know if it's meant to be horror or not, or if
It's a
it's
survival
more.
game.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what how I would describe it exactly. It's like all of the weapons and everything are
Oh,
like organic.
it looks like Alien and
Yeah.
more so Prometheus. Is it Prometheus?
No, it's not. But I mean, did get those vibes from it, especially the first time they showed the trailer.
That 100%. That's gonna be way too. Hold on. That looks 100. That's gonna be too. Yeah, that's gonna be too dark. I can't win.
No, you can't.
I don't know. That looks 100% like Prometheus, man. That is
It
Prometheus.
does. It does. It totally does. I remember watching the trailer for it the first time they showed it off back
And
in like May of last year,
and
and I
thinking,
was just like, looks like Prometheus. Like that's exactly what my thoughts were at the time. But
yeah,
my understanding is that I don't think it's related to aliens in like any way.
probably not, but it looks 100% like it is. Also, hello Malta, Master. Welcome.
Howdy, how's it going? Um, but yeah, I'm actually I was kind of always back to Psychonauts 2 for 2 seconds. I was always sort of keeping like half an eye on it, but I was like, it's kind of psychedelic and freaky, and like it looks kind of fun because I like 3D
Have
platformers.
you played the first one?
I did a long time ago. I don't remember a lot of it. I might play it on Game Pass
I know.
before the new
Yeah,
one
it's
comes
there.
out.
I'm kind of tempted to do that too. That comes out soon,
Um,
in like a month ish.
Psychonauts 2? Yeah, about a month on
August 17th, maybe.
Friday? No, Sunday? Comes out on the 25th.
Okay.
Um, but the new trailer that I just watched earlier today that came out yesterday, the story trailer, sold me on it. I mean, not that I really needed to be sold.
I
I
haven't
play it
seen
for
it,
free,
so
but
I'll probably have to look at it and go from there, kind of thing.
I'll
Also,
link it to
okay,
you in the
perfect.
in I'll link it to you later.
Okay, what do y'all
So
think about Cruisin' Blast on Nintendo Switch? Do you know what
cruising.
Cruisin' Blast is? I don't know
Okay,
what
so
Cruisin' Blast
Cruise and
is.
Blast. If I don't remember the name exactly, so I'm assuming that this is it, but it's basically Cruisin' USA made for the Nintendo Switch. Like
Oh,
you know the old
yeah.
N64 Cruisin' USA,
I did
and then
not
there
know
was
that.
what was the other one? Cruisin' the World or something like that. There were multiple cruising games.
Is there a physical copy of this?
I don't imagine so.
I
I'd
think
be
this is a great idea.
I'd be surprised, but I mean, for your sake, I hope there is.
When is this supposed to be coming out?
I have no idea.
What is it called? Cruisin' Blast. Oh, it's not on Amazon yet. Horizon Chase Turbo. What the hell is that?
I don't know what that is.
It says it's confirmed somewhere else that I looked. So maybe. Hey, Jeff's here. Welcome, Jeff. You did. You finally
Right.
made it. He's
Hey, Cruisin' Exotica, that was the other one. I knew there was another one. I just couldn't think of what the name was. They
I've
were fun games. They had great music in them too. I
I've
mean, not really, but like it worked for the games.
I've never played any of them. I've seen them, and it looks like a lot of fun, but I've never played any of those games. And okay, so physical release is on its way. When's it supposed to be coming out then? Because I'd
Really?
like to. Yeah, I saw like a Switch with yeah, I saw the thing and I was like, okay, I can't just be dreaming that. Why don't they do that for every game anyway?
Are they like, is it being done by like, the name of that company? Jeez. I can't, why can't I think of the name of the company? The one that turns digital games into physical, Limited Run. Is Limited Run doing the
Oh,
physical?
maybe that's what it is.
I
Uh,
know they're not the only company that do that, but
they're
I don't know
definitely
the
up
names.
there. Yeah,
I
physical
don't know
game.
any of the other names of companies that do them.
Neither do I. There's one in
Good games, bad music.
Excuse me, that's getting physical release on the Switch. When they have the cover art released already. Uh, Later this year. I don't know. It doesn't say specifically when or who's doing it, but it exists, man. It's coming. Look at that. Look at that.
Looks like a cruising game.
Look at that. Look at that. It's physical. This makes me so excited. The Series X. Oh man. I okay. So I am very excited for Halo Infinite. Is it Infinite or Infinity? I thought it was Infinite.
It's infinite.
It is. I'm gonna check this.
Yeah.
Okay, it is Infinite. Infinite. Okay, so I'm very much looking forward to Halo Infinite. I haven't played Halo 5 yet though, but I've been playing a little bit of Halo 2 every once in a while. I like the multiplayer of it, and the multiplayer for Halo Infinite looks really fun. Kevin, are you gonna try Halo Infinite with us?
I kind of have no excuse not to,
You really
because
don't.
like that's kind of my thing. Like that's actually one of my favorite things about all these games, being like, well, obviously Halo Infinite is free to play either way. But like all these games going to Game Pass means that like we all have these games. So like as long as we're subbed
Yeah.
to the service, we have hundreds of games that each other has.
We need to play the Dungeons and Dragons game. We're so like it's been
Yeah.
a month now. Like we got to get on that.
Yeah, it's been hasn't really worked out. I mean, we tried two different nights.
Yeah,
First one I ended up screwing over,
and then,
sort of. My power was out, so it
well, that's
wasn't
not really
really
your
within my
fault.
control.
Yeah,
And then the second one, you ended up working, I think.
yeah. They switched my shift from the day shift to the evening. I was like, oh, I get to sleep in, but then and then I'm like all excited, and then I realized that oh no, that means that I can't do the other thing. Um, okay, so how's the Series X, Kyle? So I'll be honest. I've been playing probably 2 to 3 hours a day on it, but it's Apex Legends, so runs extremely smoothly on the Series X. Like it's crazy because I was playing it on the Switch before, which is the absolute
It's gonna be a
worst.
terrible experience.
It's horrible. It lags and it looks like you can't see anything in the distance. It's so janky, and when you get too close to somebody, if you have a shotgun and you're hoping to kill them with a shotgun, there's no way. You just kind of spray and pray. That's literally all you're doing at that point in time. It's the worst. I still played a crap ton of it because I still had a lot of fun with it. But like, there's no way that anybody that was really good knew what the hell they were doing when there's like a bunch of them and they're all super close. You're pretty much just shooting, and there's no point in even doing the close in zoom. It's ridiculous. But on the Xbox ones, Xbox Series X, it runs so smooth. I really love it. I like the controller of the. You were right about the controller for the Xbox Series X because I wasn't sure because I didn't really like the Xbox One. Xbox
Yeah,
Series X, it just changed a few things, but it really made me enjoy it a lot more.
yeah, it's a nice controller. I mean, they made little adjustments, but they didn't fix what wasn't broken. Like that said, though, there are some things about the PlayStation 5 controller that I wish that they'd adopted as well. I mean, Phil Spencer's actually said that they might do a controller refresh
Hmm.
um, this gen. Like they might bring out one that has like haptic feedback and stuff like the PlayStation controller does.
I mean, I
I don't
think
know. I don't know how that'll work exactly, but you know, I'm open to it.
I'm open to it too. Yeah, I'll take that. So they said that not limited run is being published by Nintendo, I think, which makes sense because yeah, it didn't look like it was limited run. It looks like it's actually gonna be like somebody else. Halo Infinite. All I see is the raw thrills. The dev. I don't think it's limited runs. Physical. I'm a while behind in the chat. I am so sorry. We're trying to catch up. Canadians are nice. We try to be. We try to be. Kevin's actually an asshole, so don't.
I am.
The way you said "I am" just seemed so genuine. Like, yeah,
I'm the guy in the group that's always like just saying things that are not
yeah,
mean,
just
but I'm like
trolling us all the
going,
time,
yeah, I'm trolling you constantly.
going against the grain like all the time against this man.
I have a running gag for literally years at this point with Jason regarding The Witcher 3. And like, I don't have anything against the game in any way, but anytime he brings it up, I just act completely disinterested.
And then, and well, yeah, and then I have the one with the Legend of Dragoon, which I always bring up, and because so I'm a massive fan of the Legend of Dragoon, and so is Kevin. But
Yeah.
Kevin has beat the game. I have not because I got stuck once when I first tried to play it, and then I restarted it each time, and I've probably gotten I don't know I could have beaten it probably 2 or 3 times over now, but I kept restarting every few years, and then I convinced Jason to play it, and so Jason has beaten it before I did.
The fact that you've played that game and you've never seen like the third, fourth disc content
I've
is
seen I
like
I got to the like I it was the end of the third disc that I was at.
okay, okay. But the end of that game is so good.
Yeah, and I have no idea what the hell goes on. Like, I need to, like, okay, well, I gotta play this now, so I'm gonna have to, okay, well, so Skyward Sword will go to the back burn.
Oh God. Don't do that.
I thought
Finish,
there would be much more of a reaction from you.
finish Skyward Sword. I've been trying to get you to play Skyward Sword for 10 years.
I know, but I knew that there was always gonna be a remaster, so I knew that, like, I could
Yes.
put it off. I've actually played it now, not a lot, but I've played the intro. Dude, you gotta play Halo 5. I know I've played 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that the best storyline in campaign by far was Halo 4 for the first four that we had. Halo Reach wasn't too bad either, but Halo 4 I think was freaking awesome. I really liked the aspect of Master Chief being like, he's much more of he's a human, but he's much more like a robot, whereas the actual AI is much more human than he is. I really like that. It's gonna be on Game Pass day one. Yeah, play Halo Wars 2 before playing Halo Infinite. Seriously? There's stuff that
Game
goes on in
Pass.
to play Halo Wars 2, do I need to play Halo Wars for 1? I assume that's on Game Pass too. It must be.
Yeah.
We need to set a date, any date after Thursday. Tomorrow, Wednesday. Kevin, you
Uh,
and me. No, that doesn't work. Cause he said after
we'll figure
Thursday.
that out. We'll figure it out.
I was just
Maybe, maybe.
I was just trolling Jason. We have never played together, but when Alpha comes out, you and I will be slaying your friend. I will definitely be up for that. Okay. So the 10 years ago, well, close to 10 years ago, I played video. I had a stream and I played video games with Jason, who's not in the well, he's in the chat right now, but he comes on these. And then Kevin, I think you were watching. I'm pretty sure you must have been watching that stream.
Yeah, probably.
Because not long after that, I don't even know how did we decide to start talking to each other. I've been trying to think of that for the longest time. We know how long it's been, and we know why, but who started like, hey, let's talk to each other? Did we add each other on Facebook, on Discord?
I don't know.
On
I
Discord.
think I was commenting on all of your videos a long time ago, and then I was there for a bunch of your live streams
Yeah.
as well. Like not even the ones that you were playing games on, just the ones you were chatting on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know. I don't have a recollection of how it happened.
Because Jason made sense because I played the games with him and he did really well. Like he and I did really well. So after the stream was done, I
And I'm
feel
just bad at games.
that's why we keep you around because then you die and then we can run away from the monster or whatever it
I
is.
balance the team out.
Yeah. Also, hello, Tizak Wave. Good day. How you doing?
Hello.
I like a good. Well, Kevin's the best kind of troll for that kind of stuff. What's a Witcher 3? Let's years ago, 6 or 7. I know that's bad. Jason, we've been trolling Jason for the amount, about the same amount of time, like 6 years for for Witcher 3 and the Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
God,
it's funny. I've actually beaten The Legend of Dragoon on three different platforms,
you've beaten it 3 times.
at least.
When was the last time that you beat it?
On the Vita.
Huh? Vita was
I beat it
2012.
on I beat it on PlayStation 1, PlayStation 3, and on Vita. And I have
That's
PlayStation 3 again, literally right here
I.
with Legend of Dragoon loaded on it.
That was.
So,
And did you feel that you were more inclined to get the PlayStation 3 to do that because that they were saying that they were going to go with the digital stuff, go away with the digital stuff,
it
like PSN?
impacted my timing.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I got it downloaded before there was an opportunity that I wouldn't be able to, because I really don't know. I mean, I'm super optimistic that something is going to be done with The Legend of Dragoon going forward, but there's no guarantee. I mean, it's probably better chance that nothing happens.
I
But like, um,
that's so hard, man. Like,
and I want to have something that I can play it on. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't have a PlayStation 1 anymore. I haven't for ages. I have the original discs, but they're not of any use to me for that reason. I can play them within an emulator, but my computer doesn't have a CD drive,
I
and
wouldn't.
it's just kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, no, that's the best way. Which is really weird that the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 they don't want to include the classics. Why can't we play PlayStation 1 and PlayStation? They brought a few PlayStation 2 games to the PlayStation 4 and they kind of upgraded them a little bit, which was kind of nice. But why didn't
Yeah.
like PlayStation 1 is so. I mean, it is. The games that are going to hold up from PlayStation 1 are going to be maybe the platformers like Crash Bandicoot and Croc Legend of the Gobos, Spyro, and and the RPGs. The
Yeah.
RPGs, like Nintendo's doing it. Why can't I? Don't I? It just bothers me that they're kind of letting their old games die and their series die. Kyle predicted Skyward Sword HD 10 years ago. I was on top of that. Well, I by that point had there been any remakes or remastered for anything?
Not really.
No way, not
Um,
Zelda. Zelda. Why? I mean, other than GameCube had the 64 games.
yeah, I mean, yeah, they did that. I mean, this is yeah, because when Skyward Sword came out, that's obviously pre Wind Waker HD and
Yeah,
Twilight Princess HD.
yeah.
They've really become more of a remaster. They've become more into remasters in the recent years, more like the last 10 years, which I mean kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
but because their games are getting older now. But I mean, like this year is the 10-year anniversary of Skyward Sword, so it was a great time to. And
Yeah.
actually, funny enough, I think the Twilight Princess remaster was at the 10-year mark as well. I
2016.
s- maybe it sounds. I mean, I think so. Um, I swear to God, though, if they don't bring Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD to the Switch, I'm going to fucking lose it.
I mean, we're Jason and I have all heard that numerous times.
I
We are well aware.
I am sick of waiting for it.
It is a little bit ridiculous because they've ported literally everything on the Wii U, the whole game library on the Wii U except for Zelda. Like they didn't, but
Yeah,
they ported a lot of freaking things from the Wii U. And then two of the games that I think would do so well on the Switch, like could you Wind Waker on the Switch, man, like on
it's so
handheld.
good.
I feel like so many people would want to play that. The other thing too, I think that would work really well would be the 64 games. I think that
Yeah,
those games would work really well. The only thing that I could see is that maybe that they don't want to bring out the Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time because that they are planning on bringing the 64 classics or something like that. What is it called? SNES Virtual Console?
Oh,
Is that
um,
what it is? I don't remember
I
what
don't
it is.
remember. I don't remember what they call it.
The
The
SNES and
Nintendo Online.
yeah,
I don't know. Something, whatever it is. NES Online
NES Online or
something
SNES
collection.
Online. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible that they're going to do that. I think that would be pretty underwhelming if that's the way that they go. Especially
Yeah.
considering you technically don't own those games. As soon as your membership goes away, those games are gone.
Yeah. I agree.
Um, so I want. I just want to be able to download them in whatever fashion that is. They don't need to be updated or anything like that. I would prefer if they were updated.
Well, just
I think there's,
the 3DS versions. The 3DSs
yeah,
are like just make those. That would probably take a little bit more effort on their part, but those 3DS versions look really well. And if they just made them in
yeah,
HD,
yeah. I think they absolutely should do that. I'm convinced 100% that Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD have already been ported and they're ready to go.
I'm
But
hoping.
uh, I think
I think
I
it's if go ahead.
here's what I think is maybe happening. I think that it was as possible that they may have originally wanted to release those this year, but they're not sure if Breath of the Wild 2 is going to make it next year. And they're holding on to those to have a Zelda release in the event they have to push Breath of the Wild 2. Every Zelda game has been delayed,
Yeah, yeah,
and they haven't put a date on this one yet. And the way that Eiji Aonuma talked, I'm sure I said that wrong. I hate trying to say his name anytime because I'm sure I never say it right. But so series producer of the Zelda series, he when he was talking at E3 just before they showed the new trailer, he didn't say like coming 22. He said something about like aiming for release in 2022. And I was like, I don't like the way that he said that. Like that doesn't sound good to me.
no.
Um,
That means that it's so. I was thinking there was gonna be a March release for it.
I think we're getting it fall at earliest.
Ah, man, that's horrible. So and that almost makes sense as to why, the OLED Switch, for example, is announced this holiday because if they're thinking that the earliest that we can get Breath of the Wild would be next year in holiday, you could have
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. That's
It lines up, unfortunately. I don't want to wait that long for Breath of the Wild 2, but at the same time, like the fact that they're reusing the engine and everything from Breath of the Wild,
yeah,
and like they started development on Breath of the Wild 2 in 2017,
yeah, right
like
after pretty
months
much.
before the end of the season. Like they did the DLC and then they wrapped that, and the DLC was shown off at the Game Awards that year, and they were already working on Breath of the Wild 2 at that point. So like they're like
Yeah,
4 years deep into this development already.
yeah, yeah.
Or like not really, well, I guess they're like 3.5 years deep into it, but like if they don't make it even in 2022, that's like a full 5 year development cycle. How much stuff are they adding to this? I
I
mean, I'm down for it. Don't get me wrong.
well,
Like,
okay.
I think this game's gonna be amazing.
Is there a chance that like we're in this game? Aren't we also in the sky as well, like Skyward Sword?
Yeah.
Uh,
I think there's gonna be underground as well. I just don't think they've shown it to us yet. I think they're going to expand into the sky and into caves and whatnot below. Because even in the trailer, they show cave systems. The first one,
well, the first trailer, the first teaser that we ever got, they're in a cave somewhere. Like that's
exactly.
so there's a
I think
chance of
they're.
it.
I mean, to me, the sky didn't look full enough to be the only areas they've added.
I like literally I've only like so if it's the exact same map of Breath of the Wild and they only is it gonna be the same map as Breath of the Wild one?
Yeah, it's still in Hyrule. It's still the same Hyrule
They're,
at land level.
so it's gonna look exactly the same.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there will be differences. I don't know what the time period is. Maybe they've built new cities and
Right.
different things like that potentially, right? Like,
Yeah.
maybe they'll expand into the water area. Maybe there'll be underwater portions of the game.
Like Water Temple in Ocarina of Time.
I mean, hey, possible. But I mean, there's all that ocean to the side,
Yeah, there
like
is. Yeah.
where Eventide is and everything. Like
Yeah,
they could expand into that.
that's true.
So. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the sky might not be enough unless the trailer was purposely hiding some of the floating island areas.
Well, I mean, if you have the whole map of Breath of the Wild plus the sky, and there's all new enemies and things too, but that's the only thing is that if the whole map we've explored before, and while it might be a little bit different, there's going to be new enemies, and you could have different buildings here and there, but for the most part, we've been there before.
I think that's why you need underground as well.
Yeah.
and maybe potentially underwater.
Well, there was the thing where Zelda or no, Link had his hair down, right? For the first time that we've ever seen, I think. And he looked much more like the Link in the cave drawing.
Yeah,
So there's people talking about like there's time there's going to be going back in time and stuff like that.
there's been a lot of theories. There's some people who I don't personally subscribe to this, but there's some people who believe that the falling person
Yeah.
in like through the skies that's actually not Link at all. I don't know that that makes sense because it looks like the arm is like
Yeah.
whatever happens to him earlier in the trailer. So but I mean, people have been throwing all kinds of off the wall stuff around. Like this is going to be the origin story of Ganondorf or something like that. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I'd be super down for that. That sounds cool as hell. But like, I don't think that's going to happen.
But it doesn't. Okay, that's the other thing too. Is that okay? There's two things that I want to say. One of them is this timeline. I don't know what the hell the timeline is for Zelda. Like, when is Breath of the Wild supposed to take place? It seems like it takes place after Ocarina of Time because there's the ranch and it's like beaten down and stuff.
I don't know that they've actually officially placed Breath of the Wild anywhere on
They
the
probably
timeline.
don't know and don't care because they haven't for the last 25 years. They care. They
So
cared about Zelda 1, Zelda 2 as a sequel, Link to the Past as a prequel, and then they're like, I don't know where
yeah,
the next thing goes.
yeah. I mean, the timeline is already a mess. Like pre Breath of the Wild, like before you even try and fit Breath of the Wild in anywhere. My understanding is the only thing that I've heard regarding the timeline is that Breath of the Wild sits far enough in the future that it potentially merges all the timelines. And I don't understand exactly how that works,
Well, if there's if
but
they
I've heard that.
if they're going back in time and stuff like that, that could potentially happen, right? It's a
I've also heard
multiverse.
people, yeah, I've also heard people say that Skyward Sword is partially getting re-released right now because Breath of the Wild like directly plays off of Skyward Sword,
I could
and
see
I
that.
could see that,
Yeah.
um, and actually because for a lot of reasons that you don't know yet because you haven't fully played Skyward Sword.
I
And I'm dying to ask you about Skyward, like how you're like your Skyward Sword, but I know you said you wanted to maybe make a video on it, so I don't want to have you like spill it all right now.
I'm not even that far. Like I can't really talk that much about it anyway. So like
Mm.
I need to put more hours into it before I actually can talk about it. Um, what did I want to say? The other thing too is that have you ever noticed that like okay to me the Legend of Zelda games are so good because the game is fun and it's an exploration game and especially Breath of the Wild I think that the game mechanics of the shrines I liked those puzzles and most games I hate puzzles with a passion but those
Yeah,
I loved. I wanted to go to every shrine. I wanted to figure out what the hell I needed to do. It was simple yet complex and it just blended really well together. But those are the to me the best things about Zelda. And then the storyline is always just kind of eh, like it's there. It's not
yeah,
bad. It's not, definitely not bad, but it's not great. And then you hear all these theories about everybody, what everybody else is thinking that it is, and the theories every single time are mind-bogglingly amazing. Like they're so good, and everybody gets so excited. And then we play the game, and we're like, the game's amazing. How's the storyline? Eh, not nearly
yeah,
as crazy as what everybody. It's too bad that they just didn't take a little bit of time to figure out. Let's look at the games. Let's create a real timeline here, and then start introducing new, like looking at some of these conspiracy theories of what the Zelda will be like,
yeah.
and go with something crazy like that. It's just really unfortunate that I don't know.
I got another theory that's been floating out there. In the trailer they show Zelda falling like into like a like I don't want to say a pit, but like almost like a she's falling like down under the ground or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm,
she falls in a hole.
mm-hmm.
Um, One of the theories there, and I don't think I believe this one either, but the theories are fun. Um, the theory is that Link will be up on ground and in the sky, and Zelda will be playable underground.
I would be down with that. Like Zelda, it's yeah, I'm cool with that. That'd
Yeah.
be kind of
I
cool.
think that
You
could be
change things up,
fun.
right?
Yeah. I still don't think it's going to happen, but it would be fun for sure.
That would be kind of neat. I would like that. Breath of the Wild seems to be the last story because they spoke of Link being a hero talked about in the legends. No, no, no. Link will always have to be around. It could be the last like timeline Zelda, but then they're gonna make like Zelda's gonna be around forever, and if they get rid of Zelda and Link,
They won't.
they can't. That's like playing a Mario game without Mario.
You'll you'll see again. I don't want to say anything, but Skyward Sword actually addresses some of this.
Oh, okay.
Sort of.
Is Skyward Sword supposed to be
You'll
the
see.
first one? Is Skyward Sword?
Skyward Sword is the first game in the timeline. It is the game that starts all of it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
And I feel like Breath of the Wild is at the end, just because it's closer to the end.
yeah, I think actually one of the things that Skyward Sword did especially well, and this won't have any spoilers in it or anything, but is the characters in Skyward Sword are, I don't know, they're some of my favorites in like the whole series because I just feel like they're more human. Like there are relationships between the characters that you don't typically see in a lot of the Zelda games where it's like, oh, Zelda's the princess and he's a knight
Yeah.
and like stuff like that. I mean, you've probably seen a little bit of that already in this game. Like this game opens very differently
Hmm.
than most any of the other Zelda games. So
Yeah, no, I'm not very far, but yeah, I know it does seem like there's more emphasis on the actual dialogue, which is something that I feel is missing a lot in Zelda games. Breath of the Wild, there
yeah,
was barely anything, but I was kind of okay with that because you got a lot of the information and the cutscenes from like going back in time to 100 years ago, and now he's by himself, right? I
yeah.
wish
And
they
there's
would
a
have
ton
played him.
of
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
There's a ton of there's a ton more information in like journals and whatnot strewn throughout the world as well if you want to take the time to actually read those as you're exploring around. There's actually a lot of information
For Skyward
like
Sword?
on the world and everything in Breath of the Wild. They just didn't put it in places where you're specifically going to notice it,
Do you think that
which
there's going to be a
yeah,
loft wing that you can ride on?
God, I hope so.
Because
I
that would be.
love the Loft Wings.
They seem pretty
So,
awesome. Zelda has short hair, so she better be playable. That's yeah. I mean it's gonna be interesting to see. Okay, is it possible? Because when I first saw the trailer, when Link is falling down, who we presume is Link falling down, I thought that was actually Zelda.
Falling Through the Sky?
Yeah.
No, I think it's definitely Link. Like, is if you watch the trailer again later, if you look at specifically focus in on the right arm,
Did they give it it's still just called Breath of the Wild, or the sequel or whatever, right? They haven't given it a
yeah.
proper name yet.
Interestingly, Nintendo said something along the lines of they specifically there is a title for the game already. They specifically didn't give it to us because
Why?
something along the lines of it would potentially lead into people spoiling the story. Like, I don't know, that's obviously heavily paraphrased, but
How is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that, but it's intriguing at the least.
But okay, but then either way, when they release the game, we're all gonna see the title
I guess they
for it
don't want to give people too much time to
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 speculate and
think
all
about
that.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's I still that's weird. That's really
it
weird.
is weird. It is weird.
And
And I'm
yeah,
going to avoid, so
I
actually I'm not going to. I'm going to watch so many videos once the new stuff is out. It's not even funny. I'll watch every single Zelda breakdown there is.
when you were watching Breath of the Wild breakdowns though, the first one, did any of the theories pan out?
Um, Not usually. I mean, some of them, like not the big ones usually though.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, a lot of the previous games didn't really leave it like there's definitely lore from the other games, but it's disconnected
Yeah.
in a lot of respects. Like there's different bits that sort of fit for different games but don't fit for others.
Hmm.
Which makes perfect sense because I don't believe they were ever meant to be part of a like an overarching timeline. So not originally anyways.
Hmm.
But I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be specifically interesting though because we do have so much that was in Breath of the Wild that we can draw directly from because we know this is a direct sequel, which doesn't typically happen.
Yeah.
So it's a little unique in that regards as far as the Zelda series goes.
It's only happened like a few times, right? Like the first
Yeah,
Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask.
and I mean they're loosely like it's the same Link, but they're different dimensions.
Yeah.
So like
Link to the Past and what's the one that came out on 3DS? Link Between
Link Between
Worlds.
Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's pretty
yeah,
damn rare. Um, like a Loftwing shaped like those ancient texts in Breath of the Wild. Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be wicked.
yeah.
I wish that they
Oh, if
went a
you
little bit more in detail. Go ahead.
yeah, get like Loftwing armor, that'd be so
Yeah,
cool.
that would be badass. I think it's a Link without the ponytail. Yeah, I just looked at a picture of it, and it's got the arm, so it has to be Link,
Yeah,
right?
definitely him.
Okay. We can all agree that Breath of the Wild 2 will be better than the new Space Jam movie. Hey, nobody, you don't say bad things about Space Jam here. Michael Jordan a few years ago on Twitter posted that this guy had found his number somehow, and he would like constantly be messaging him. And one of the times he messaged him, he's like, "Remember Space Jam? Remember Space Jam?" And Michael Jordan's like, "I don't need this in my life." I loved that so much.
It's
Oh
good.
God, Space Jam. I don't know what the hell Space Jam 2 is gonna be about. I mean, is it out already? Can you watch? I don't really want to.
I don't know.
I enjoy.
I don't know.
I enjoyed Space Jam when I was a kid. I liked it back then. I had a bunch of toys for it and stuff. Like I had like the they have like a space car that all the little aliens go into, and you could fit all of them all in there. Michael B. Jordan.
So here's what I want to know. Is Space Jam like the new one? Is it meant to be an actual like sequel Space Jam, or is it basically LeBron James just doing exactly what Michael Jordan did,
Like,
right? And
are they gonna
basically remaking his
reference?
movie.
Like, are you saying if they're gonna reference, Space Jam 1? If
I
Michael
mean,
Jordan shows up for a cameo, I mean that's I think worth the price of admission alone right there.
now I guess what I'm wondering is like, is it basically just a straight rip off of the first movie, like almost like a remake of the original movie, or is it actually like its own thing?
No idea. Absolutely no idea. Wait, Jason, you've seen it?
That's
Jason.
on HBO Max apparently.
Oh well, I guess we could watch that with Crave, right?
Can we? I know some things go on and some things don't.
That's
I
true.
probably wouldn't watch it anyways, so I'm not super worried.
I want to watch Black Widow. That's what I want to be watching right now. Actually, I want to watch that and Godzilla versus King Kong. Those are the only two movies that I've seen this year that I really want to see. It's so
Yeah,
weird
I want to watch Black Widow.
that there's been so many movies, like for years that I would be up to date with what's going on, and now it's like I have no idea of what's coming out, what I'm interested in.
Um, Eternals and Shang-Chi are coming out still this year.
Yep,
I'm excited for those.
yep. And then well, and Spider-Man. Spider-Man comes out at the end of
Oh
the year
yeah,
too. Like
true.
that's the biggest one. And
I
I'm not.
forgot entirely about that one.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still curious to see whether Matt Murdock is going to be in Spider-Man 3 or not.
It's hard to tell. Like that's the. I can't say anything. Yeah,
Kyle
there's
has the insider info.
no, but you're not caught up with all the Marvel shows, right?
I'm not. I haven't seen all of Loki yet. I've been watching it with my nephew, and he's only here certain days of the week.
Right.
So it's been a little slow watching it, but I've only seen the first two episodes so far.
Okay.
So,
Were you
but
what?
I'm hoping maybe I might get to watch an episode tomorrow,
Okay.
and then maybe again on the weekend I'll get to watch another one. So there's only 6 episodes, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I
So
feel like episode 3 was a bit of a filler episode. I think there's episode 3 or 4 is like a filler episode, but then everything else is kind of interesting.
nice,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah. And the ending is yeah.
excellent.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Yep.
I know it's been rumored for quite some time though that Matt Murdock was going to be Spider-Man's lawyer. So
That'd be freaking awesome.
I think that'd be
Spider-Man's
cool as
lawyer. That's
hell.
so weird. Like, jeez.
I I think that sounds really fun. Plus, I really like Daredevil. Like
Yeah.
the because the rumor is it would be the one who the Daredevil from the Netflix show. So
And does that mean that his stuff is canon or is it a multiverse thing? Because obviously, if there's multiverse with the other two Spider-Mans, is it like, man,
yeah,
they're gonna have to figure all. It'd be fun to figure out for
yeah.
to be in charge of this.
I don't think they consider the Netflix stuff canon, but I hope they do.
Oh,
I really liked I liked all the Netflix Marvel shows. Yes, even Iron Fist. Iron Fist season one wasn't great. Second season's definitely better than the first.
I haven't seen any of it,
Uh,
so only seen Daredevil. I would want to watch The Punisher and probably Defenders.
you should definitely watch Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones is really good.
Yeah, you kept saying that too. Jason said that they reference the first Space Jam in it. They reference it. They tease you and smash your childhood in the head.
Nice. I definitely want to see Black Widow though. I'm actually thinking about going to the theater to see it on the weekend.
Do it. I
I'm
live.
dying to go to the theater. I haven't been in so like obviously so long.
Last one I watched was Sonic the Hedgehog. Well,
For shame.
that's it wasn't that bad.
I'm
It's
just
not.
kidding. I don't know.
It's all right.
I actually know several people who went to see it and enjoyed it, who are around our age. So,
Yeah. I,
so I no judgment.
I don't actually
Um,
would watch it without kids around. I've watched. Are we talking about Space Jam or? I've
I
watched.
just know with Space Jam.
I own Space Jam on Blu-ray, so
I do not, but I
I
bought it for somebody like 4 months ago.
well, like last year, what's it called? Like the Michael Jordan documentary. Have you seen the Michael Jordan documentary?
I haven't watched it. No,
It's I've never watched more than 5 minutes of basketball in my life, but that's freaking amazing. That documentary that they have on Netflix is so freaking good.
is it like
It's
Ancient Aliens good?
no, what's
It's the only documentary I watch. No, I'm just kidding.
that's. I mean, no, because it's not like Space Jam, man. It-
Actually,
I'm not saying it's aliens, but
I actually,
aliens.
yeah, I actually do like a good documentary. Have you ever watched The Curse of Oak Island?
Yes, I've seen like bits and pieces of it here and there because it's like an episode here and there that yeah, that's interesting. That oh man, that I would love to do a live stream about. Just like watch a bunch of stuff about that and dive into that because I would love that. That's my kind of jam is freaky stuff like that. We should
Yeah.
all also one of these days, and I would love to do that for like maybe next month, is look at a specific. I don't know if you're into this kind of stuff, but like some kind of case where it's like an unsolved mystery or where it was solved and we more so an unsolved and we can kind of go and try to figure stuff out for what happened. That would be so much fun.
I don't know. Where would you find that?
So well you just look up for example if we want to do the Zodiac killer, right?
Ah, okay,
So you
okay.
just look that up, but we could find like unsolved things that like aren't necessarily as popular. We could go with a popular one at the beginning, and what we do is we would all have to research like as much as we could, and then we come in here and then we kind of like try to form stuff afterwards. I think it'd be fun. Who's
Nice,
Chris
nice.
Chan watched it? Who's Chris Chan? Black Widow also new says announced for Switch Online. What's the new? Oh yeah, I'm sure they're amazing games. I'm more of a WWE fan. I'm a massive WWE fan. I just watched Money in the Bank a few days ago.
I
Anyways,
did not.
Jelly Boy Bumbles. What the hell are you talking about, Jason?
I've never heard of any of those, but that sounds about right.
I don't know if they're talking about like wrestling, but I don't know any of those guys. Jelly Boy.
No, I think that might be the SNES games.
Oh, right. Claim.
I've never heard of any of them, so like
Who's
I said, sounds
who's?
about right.
I'm gonna look who up Chris Chan is. Nope, wrong guy.
Trying to plan a day with your brothers to go see it. Yeah, I think I'll end up probably going with my brother and my nephews to see Black Widow. I think that's the plan. Maybe this weekend.
He's an
Try
American
and squeeze in
YouTuber
there.
and vlogger.
Should probably look at tickets sooner than later.
Yeah, to, to go see. Has anybody here seen Black Widow? Like, is it worth checking out? I've heard some okay things about it. Also, yeah, if we're just gonna take a moment because I know you don't watch wrestling, Kevin, but that was a freaking good match between Edge and Roman. I like that Edge has been gone for like 10 years, comes back, and has like a 30-plus minute match with Roman, and they did a freaking good match. And I think that Edge outdid Roman. I mean, I am an Edge fan, and I don't like Roman necessarily, but that was a freaking good match. And Cena showing coming back, a lot of good stuff. You know some of these guys, Kevin. Edge,
Would I?
Cena.
I know those guys. I
See?
know the John Cena prank phone calls.
Yeah. I think yeah.
It was a radio station, I guess, but they were
Christian.
pretty funny.
Yeah. Christian created Sony Chu. I don't even know what Sonic Chu is. That's sad. Do you know what Sonic Chu is?
No,
I feel like something big Sonic related, but SNES Japan is getting a Shin Megami Tensei game. Yeah, it was a good main event. That's the other thing too is there's so many games that they could put out. Like don't give me NES games. I think everybody's kind of done with NES games. Like nobody cares about that. We want good SNES games, and I think that once again they have to kind of go to RPGs, but put like Super Mario RPG on there. I feel like that would be a really good one. The Rock should have came out instead of Cena. I feel like Rock's getting up there. I don't know if he's wrestled. If Rock's gonna come back for one last match, it's gonna be at WrestleMania. On this day, Kevin sees clearly. Yeah.
yeah, yes, I did catch that, Jason. It's the Alter Bridge.
Well, that's Edge's theme song.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I didn't know if you knew that or not.
yeah, it's Metalingus. It's a good song. Um, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Back to you.
Well, we were talking about the Super Nintendo games that like they need to put out on the SNES Classic or whatever it's called.
Right. Yeah. I think the Nintendo online collection of games is absolute crap.
Well,
And
the Nintendo one, the NES one is well. There's still a few games in there, and
I mean,
there's some really good games in the SNES. But the new ones that they come out with are like, what is this trash?
yeah, it's so underwhelming, and I just don't understand. I don't understand at all why we don't have a virtual console.
Yeah,
I don't want this. You can play them like it's not like Game Pass. Like Game Pass is different.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't this is not how I want my retro Nintendo games on my handheld. I just don't.
You want to be able to download them so that they're kind of there, right?
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
and it's weird because it's like Nintendo's going back too far, right? Because they don't want to touch N64, Game Boy Advance, and GameCube, which they could totally do right now. And then you have PlayStation, which is like we're gonna just focus on newer stuff, and we're not gonna go back to PlayStation 1
Yeah.
anymore. They might not even go to PS2 for the PlayStation 5. I have no idea. Or PlayStation 3. They might just focus on PS4 and PS5. And then you have Xbox, and it's like literally everything that was big on all of our consoles, we're going to try to bring it out.
Funny thing is too, the Xbox Series consoles are actually amazing PlayStation emulation systems.
I've heard that, like especially the Series S. I think for some reason the
Yeah,
Series S might be even better than the Series X to do that with. I could be wrong, but I think feel like,
yeah, I mean, I can see it.
or because
By the
that they're
way,
cheaper.
yeah. By the way, I meant to actually ask you when you were talking about Apex at the beginning. Does Apex have 120 frames per second mode on Series X?
Like I know that. I know that I'm a gamer, but I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's 120 frames. I mean, you'd need a new TV, but I mean, you were talking about that anyways. So
I and here I am trying to save money.
yeah, but also new shiny television.
Shut up. I
I'm
always.
not.
Oh.
And that's also me in the group, the guy that tries to get them to buy literally everything, whether they want it or not.
And it's been it's worked a few times. Um.
I'm a bad influence.
So Series X will support 120 Hz, but it will be the game itself if it allows. Well, does it? Can Apex allow?
I'm actually gonna get a Series S eventually for up here in my room to keep my Series X in the living room.
It says that it's going to, but it doesn't necessarily say that it has happened.
Okay. I was just wondering
It's a
because
high
like
priority apparently.
because like the Series S, I mean Series X could totally push that game at like 1080p, 120 frames probably.
Yeah.
You just need a TV that can take advantage, and that would be so buttery smooth, like above even what you're playing now, right? Like
And then you compare it to the Switch version where it's choppy as hell. It
what
was
you were saying,
so bad.
see what you were saying about like the Switch version not being good, like for Apex, is kind of how I felt about Minecraft. Like the draw distances, the performance was kind of hit and miss.
No.
Like
Oh God.
but the game is a lot slower, so it's tolerable. But
Oh,
like
it's
Minecraft on the Switch is like the last way I'd want to play it.
it's no, it's not. Those two games are not even comparable to what you're thinking. It's so much worse.
Oh God.
Yeah, no. Like you should almost down because it's free. You should download it, try it, and just be like, "What the hell did I just play?" But it's surprising that they got it to work. Also, okay, so the chat's okay. N64 emulator for the Switch would be amazing. I so agree. Like they could totally do, the N64 and Game Boy Advance by this point, and they could probably also include the GameCube. Like they've done it before. The Wii had access to this stuff. The Wii had access to more things than the Switch. It makes no
It's
sense.
like I don't understand. Like they want us to pay for their online service, but I mean, if we want to play games online, we're going to pay for the online service anyways. That's just how
Yeah,
consoles work.
yeah.
So, and their online service is cheap already. It's like 25 bucks for a year.
And if you get
Like it's
if you
nothing.
if you get Amazon Prime, I think that you still get it for a free year all the time.
Nice, even better, right?
Yeah,
So like it's already really cheap. So they don't really need to bolster the value of Switch Online. Like it's fine. Like if there were no games included with it, I'd be fine with it because it's already cheap.
yep,
So like I don't understand why they're like, we're gonna put all these games in the online service and not offer them for people to buy them from the virtual console. Like I would like, do you not want my money? Like I'm actually prepared to pay you again for these games.
yep,
Like
yep.
because I want them on my Switch, but I want to own them.
I fully agree. I'm the same way because the Switch is my favorite console of all time. It's really just I love it to death, but and so that's why I would like to play especially all the old games is what I think would work so well on the handheld. Because some games
Yeah.
that are new, like it's a little bit too much that's going on, so it wouldn't work as well. But all the old games I feel would be really good on it. Um, and I've heard though that the reason why they don't have the virtual console there where you can buy the games is because then everybody would be buying like you know all the old games and they wouldn't be buying all the indie games. And apparently they have a really good. I think you mentioned that potentially like years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's possible.
So,
I don't know.
and I get it because then they're making more indie games for Switch and all that kind of stuff, and so they can kind of push that and have the Nintendo Indies or whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, maybe then. I mean, I suppose that's possible, but like, I don't know. I find it frustrating that I can't just own a copy of A Link to the Past on my Switch. I have to play it through the Super NES app.
yeah.
I don't like, I mean, it's fine to play it that way, and I mean, whatever, but eventually,
Do you have to be?
you know,
You must be
a few
connected.
years, sorry.
Do you have to be connected to the internet to play?
I actually don't know. I haven't really used the app very much, to be honest.
I've used it a
Um,
few times. I like it. I just yeah, I'd like to own them too.
yeah. I mean, eventually, when they decide, however many years from now, 5 years from now, or whatever the case is, that they're not going to operate the catalog that catalog on the Switch anymore. I mean, I'm not going to have access to those games anymore. I want to be able to say I want to buy Link to the Past
Yep.
for $6 or whatever the heck they're going to charge me
Yep.
for it,
8 probably.
and probably. And I'm going to download it into my Switch. And then when you take my servers away later, I still have my digital game.
Yep.
I mean, I understand I'll never be able to download it again,
Yep.
but as long as my Switch is alive, I still have that game.
Yep. Like right now you're with your PlayStation 3 which has which is just a Legend of Dragoon console.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
Although I'm going to re-download Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty,
Yep.
the spin-off game, and I'd like to find copies of Tools of Destruction and a Crack in Time.
Wait just a little bit longer cuz like the prices are still going down for those a little bit, right? Well, maybe they might be down now, but I know that like whatever they they had shot up in price a few months ago. And
Yeah.
now they're starting to go down again. So that's definitely. I need to get those games too. I really need to get those games.
And I also noticed when I went into my download history on the PlayStation 3 there that I also have the entire Prince of Persia series, the three
Oh,
games there.
nice
So, and they're I want to say they're the HD remasters
remastered.
or whatever that
Yep.
they put out on the. So, I obviously bought those. I was like, cool. I mean, I don't know if I'll play them, but I'll download them while I can, and I'll leave them on the
Just
system.
in case, kind of thing. I'm actually going to be making a video. Probably I don't know if it's this month or next month, but I'm going to be buying like $50 worth of PSN games because I want to go back and buy a bunch of digital games on my PlayStation 3 because I want some of those physical games or not. I would prefer the physical, but the physicals are way too expensive, so I'm gonna buy a bunch of them there. And I did that with the Wii U, right?
Yeah,
Not long ago.
yeah.
So I'm going
Do
for the.
you
Yep.
Sorry.
I was just
No,
gonna.
I was reading the same thing actually.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, I was just gonna respond to one thing. I was gonna ask Jeff here if he's a platformer fan.
You want to talk about Psychonauts?
No, I want to talk about Ori and the Will of the Wisps at
Oh,
4K 120 frames per second on the
right.
Series X. It's
Gotcha.
phenomenal. I played a little bit of it the other day. I hadn't actually played it yet. I'd been dying to play it, but I had to download it for ages, but I finally booted it up the other day.
S- Series X is worth it too, like for that kind of stuff, obviously. But it's Game Pass, right? And I don't think it's necessarily worth it just yet. But when Halo comes out, by that point, there's a lot of games that are going to be on there, and 2022 is going to have a crap ton of stuff for us too.
Yeah.
And I agree with Jason when he's saying that game like Switch Online, you could up the price of Switch Online if you offered bigger games from the SNES library, N64, Game Boy Advance, and GameCube. If you did that, you could you can't make it at the same price as a Game Pass, but you could charge probably at least $50.
Yeah.
I don't know, going from 25 to 50 or 60 might piss a lot of people off. And because it's
I guess
Nintendo, they'll be like, "No, Nintendo is not allowed to do that." They always, we're always the fan base is really usually against a lot of that stuff.
yeah. I think the tricky thing that Nintendo is going to have is I don't think Nintendo is as likely to adopt things that they don't consider to be like super simple, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to want like a flat cost, and that's just going to be that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I think Game Pass has a little bit more flexibility to it where, I mean, okay, so there's a report that's been out there for a while, but it's believed to be pretty much a done deal that Uplay, like the Ubisoft like EA type thing, like where there's like a vault of their old games. It's believed that that's getting added into Game Pass at some point this year. That it's a formality. It's just gonna it has just hasn't been announced yet.
Man.
Um, so assuming that that happens, I mean, people are starting to think, okay, you've got all these services that are adding into Game Pass. You've got all these developers that need to make money on their games. Game Pass's price is going to have to go up sooner or later, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I've also like, but then also, um, I think Microsoft is more likely to be willing to start creating tiers. Like they already have two tiers, right? Like
Right.
they
Yeah.
like where you have Game Pass and you have Game Pass Ultimate, which gets you more stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe it's like Game Pass Ultimate plus you can opt in to like an extra couple dollar charge and then Ubisoft gets added in or whatever, right? Like I could see add-ons becoming part of Game Pass.
And could you choose like specifically which add-on you want first? For like $3, you could choose the Ubisoft one, or you could choose the Bethesda. Well, Bethesda I think is going to be part of it anyway. But for
Yeah, it'll just be
just the
core Game
example,
Pass. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because
But like who knows?
I feel like so few people would get. Well, Ubisoft is up there for Assassin's Creed and stuff, but I feel like I don't know. I don't. I'm really curious. I wouldn't get the Ubisoft one.
I mean if it was only a couple of bucks, I probably would. Because they have a lot of multiplayer games, and I could see them being fun.
Maybe, yeah, okay, that's fair. I'm just gonna read
Um,
a little bit from the chat here. I have a game that you can have, Kevin, Persona Revelations. I was going to sell it, but I've had it for years, and I'm just not a fan of Persona fan. You have Persona Revelations on the PlayStation 1? Or Persona Revelations? Which one's that? No, no. Persona Revelations. Which one is that?
I'm actually not familiar with that one either. It's not a numbered one. It sits outside of the numbered
That
games,
that is
or
the
is
first
Rev?
that is the first one on PlayStation
Oh,
1.
okay.
Dude, that game's worth, I'm pretty sure if you have the physical copy of it there, it's up there. What? Really? How is it possible that brand new it's $63 and pre-owned it's 257? Something's not adding
Um,
up here.
so you do like platformers. So yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Rift Apart is really awesome. I love Rift Apart. But I was gonna suggest if you do end up grabbing a Series X, because yeah, I was thinking you were saying that you wanted to get one maybe. I would definitely look at Ori, the second one, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It's a phenomenal game.
Is that on Game Pass?
It is. Both of
Both
the
of them?
both of the Ori games are on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I still think Microsoft should buy that studio. Like the fact that they don't own them. I mean, maybe they don't want to sell. I would be shocked if Microsoft hadn't at least asked, like inquired about it. Moon Studios, like those Ori games are phenomenal. They're
Yeah.
some of the highest rated games on the Xbox platform. So
Yeah. So they're doing really well with those series, and I haven't played any of them, and I own both of them now, and I
yeah,
haven't played them yet, but
I really wanted to get the physical copy for the Switch at one
yeah.
point, but I missed my chance at that. And I at this point now with the Series X upgrade, I just want to play it on Series X anyways.
Was that limited run? I don't remember.
I don't think so because they actually came into EB Games.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's probably not. Jason said that I mean $50 a year for quality library and online services. I do it. I would totally do it as well.
I would.
I would within a second. I just feel like generally whenever Nintendo does something to try to catch up to the other companies, people get angry, especially if it costs them money. And it's kind of understandable, but it's like they're they're allowed to try to catch up, and the only way that they're gonna catch up is if they do that. Nintendo dominates with their exclusives. Games are what moves consoles. I fully agree with that. I mean, that's well, they had the Wii U, but then again, the Wii U didn't really like. There was no new Zelda until the very end when the Switch was
Mhm.
out. there wasn't even a real Super Mario. Like Super Mario 3D World was a multiplayer game, so you didn't have
Yeah.
like a Galaxy 3 or an Odyssey. There was no Metroid. There was a Donkey Kong, I guess. Like there wasn't really a lot. Mario Kart though, that was there. PlayStation One called Revelations, Persona, Black Label. I mean, definitely get Jeff. I mean that. I think that version's costs quite a bit. I've looked at that before. I think because I think that yeah, and any RPG Black Label like is gonna go for a lot. That's weird though. That $60 for the brand new and 257 for used. That was weird.
I actually can't say I realized the Persona series was that old, like
90,
dating all the way back to the PS1.
96. Like that's but and then they took forever for Persona 3 and Persona 4 on
Mm,
PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 2 was like PlayStation 2 in 2008 is when Persona 4 came out on the PlayStation 2.
wow.
Right? Like PS3 had been around for 2 years by that point.
I wonder when Legend of Dragoon 2 will come out. No,
Well,
I actually don't even. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would take it too, but I want a remake more than I want a sequel.
I want the regular version available on PlayStation 5. I want an HD port of that they did with like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, where they just upscaled, like made it look a little bit nicer, like cleaned it
Yeah,
out. I want that. Then I want a full remake, a la Final Fantasy 7 remake, and then I want a prequel and a sequel, and I'll be happy.
don't get me wrong. I would take both of those. I would take all of that. But if I can only have one thing, I just want a remake of the original game because I feel like too many people didn't experience that game.
I agree. On the same vein, I feel like Kev, you have to play Final Fantasy 7 remake.
I'm planning to. I'm just
Well, so you have
well,
Skyward Sword right now.
I was waiting for the PS5 update to come out because I have the PS4 version, but I get the update for free, like
When
to the
is the up
PS5.
when do we get that update? Is it out
I
yet?
think I think it came out at the same time as Intergrade
Integrate?
came out.
Okay, so you can play that now.
Um, and I don't really care necessarily about the DLC. If I want it, I'll pick it up for like 20 bucks or whatever the heck it is. Because I'm pretty sure I can just buy it.
I'm pretty sure as well, yeah.
Um,
Dude, it's
so, but I do plan to play it
but
because
I
I
would
actually,
go ahead.
sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
really liked Final Fantasy VII, so I do intend to play the remake of it.
Have you beaten Final Fantasy 7?
Yeah, long time ago.
I mean, I would almost say watch a video of like all the big events that happen in Final Fantasy 7 because the remake, and I don't want to get into it, but there's like they expand everything, right? Like cuz the fir-
Yeah,
the 40-hour game is only the first 6 hours of the game.
that's wild.
It all makes sense, and then you still see all the scenes that kind of happen, and I just want you to beat that game so that we could talk here, just like we want to talk about Skyward Sword. Uh, get to playing 2 to 3 hours of gameplay. For which game are we talking about? Legend of Dragoon? I have no idea what game we're talking about that I need to play for 2 to 3 hours.
We're talking about too
Skyward
many things.
Sword,
We're
maybe?
bouncing.
I know.
Ah, Sword.
I
I can't
will.
wait to start Skyward Sword, but I've been wait. I want to wait for my Joy Cons, which I really don't need to do. But for some reason, I want the Shield Joy-Con in my hand.
Mine
Are you
have.
playing with motion controls or button controls?
I played with motion controls, but did you know that you can switch it and you can play with the Pro controller with button controls? With the Pro
Yeah, you can
controller,
move back and forth.
I thought it was only going to be in handheld that you were allowed to do that.
No, you can move between them.
I was so happy that they included the Pro controller for that. That's crazy.
I might do the flying sequences with the controller because I've never loved the loft wing like flight sequences with the. I mean, I'll give it a try with the motion controls first, but I might play those with the controller.
Oh, yeah, no, I probably wouldn't like motion control for flying. I don't think
But the
I could.
motion controls, I think, for most of the game are fun, and I think for most of the game they work pretty well.
Okay. I'll,
So
I'll give it a try. All the good Wii U exclusives are essentially ported to the Switch at this point, other than maybe Xenoblade Chronicles X. I have a video of 7 games that are kind of big that have not been ported to the Switch, and I got to do that video before they actually announce one of them. Do you like Persona, Kyle? I've never played Persona, but I do own 3 and 4 on the PlayStation 2, and I really want to get into that series. I own Persona 5 as well because I got it for cheap. I got all of them brand new for like $20, and I want to get it. I want to give them a try. I know that they're really different though. I just want Dart and the crew back. The PS5 upgrade is out. Integrated is only 2 chapters. It's like $10 a chapter. Have I feel like Integrate is still long enough though, because it's like there's the original remake is 3 chapters and Integrate is another chapter. So I feel like it should still at least be 10 hours. I'm gonna check to see how long to beat. You gotta play that, Kevin. After if I beat Skyward Sword, you need to play the remake and beat it.
Well, actually, I guess they're both pretty long.
Yeah,
Actually, how long is you said 40 hours?
about 40 hours is maybe 40.
Skyward Sword's probably about the same,
35 to
close-ish.
35 to 45 depending on how much extra thing because there's like side missions here and there that were actually well, some of them were kind of tedious, but
I remember playing Skyward Sword for like 50 hours, but I don't think it needed to be that long. I just tend to not really, I'm not worried about taking my time. Like, I just kind of move through and enjoy the game. I don't just play straight through the story most of the time. Although in Skyward Sword, you kind of do just play straight through the story. It's a very linear game, but
yeah,
um,
I'm fine with that. I don't
yeah,
necessarily need like I'm okay with that kind of stuff. Also, I just found out that the Integrate is only like 5 hours to beat, and like then generally people are playing about 8 hours, and it would take about 16 hours to complete it. I thought it was gonna be longer than that. I thought it was gonna be about 10 hours to beat, not five.
mm,
Not that big of a deal, but it's there.
yeah, it's a little unfortunate,
Yeah.
but yeah, they actually have
It gives us a little bit more though of Final Fantasy VII while we're waiting for the next part two, I guess.
yeah, that'll be.
I wonder how many parts they're gonna have.
Yeah,
7?
I wonder if they even know.
Yeah, that's. I'm really excited for the next one though. That was like by far my favorite game last year, and it's in my top 3 now of games of all time. And I don't know, it could be number 1. I enjoyed that so much.
Yeah.
This is like me praising Witcher. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Now you're never gonna play Final Fantasy VII.
Actually, funny enough, when we were talking about The Witcher earlier, I was going to tell Jason to get ready to clip it, but when the Series X patch comes out, I will play The Witcher 3, not the first one. Fuck the first one
And the second one.
and the second one.
I own the second one, and I played a little bit of it, but
I'm only going back so far. I'll play 3.
I assume that we don't even have to play 1 and 2 because 1 it's not on it's PC only at the moment. There was plans for it to come to 360, but for whatever reason that never came to fruition. It's weird.
I don't even think Jason heard me. That's a freebie. I can renege on that.
He's working too much. He's actually working.
I just got the eyes there.
Are you good with maybe another 10 minutes and then we'll end it? Does
Sure.
that sound good to you?
Yep.
So just a side note. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do 1 video per day until I hit 4,000 subscribers, and this was just an easy way to do a video. Well, it's funny. It's like this is the easy way to do a video, but it's like 2 hours instead of a 10-minute video that I would normally do. But it is technically easier. There's a lot less thinking that has to go through for this kind of thing. So I would like to do live streams a little bit more regularly than we have in the past. And I love the idea of looking into, well, what kind of weird stuff would you want to talk about? Because you're like the Oak Island thing. Are you into like aliens, Atlantis, ghosts, any of that weird kind of stuff?
I mean, alien stuff I find fascinating for the most
Yeah.
part. I mean, ancient aliens.
That's true, right? Yeah. Have you ever
I've
seen?
actually, unironically, I've actually watched almost that entire series.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Because
I just I understand that some of it is just pure ridiculous.
right. Yes.
But that's part of the entertainment of it, in my opinion. Like
For Asian aliens, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't watched a ton of different things, but that one and Curse of Oak Island I've always found interesting. Although I've actually seen very little of the Curse of Oak Island, but I know a little bit
Same.
about it from other things.
Yeah, and it
So
seems really messed up and interesting, that place. I wouldn't mind talking about that maybe off stream. Like I don't really know how much knowledge you have for it, but um have you ever seen Destination Truth?
no,
I
I
feel
have
like
not.
I feel like you'd like that show. That's a pretty good show for where they go and they look for paranormal stuff, and they kind of like
Hmm.
dedicate an episode for it. That's some good stuff. Um, but yeah, no, would you be up for? Are you into like unsolved mysteries and all that kind of stuff?
I can be as long as I mean, um, it would probably depend somewhat on what they are. I mean, I don't want to necessarily sit down and watch something that's like super like brutal murder all the time or something like that. But I mean, some of them,
Right.
some for sure would be interesting.
Okay. Okay. So we'd have to figure something out for that then. It's a possibility. It's an idea that I've thought of for a while because I feel like I would really delve deep into something like that.
It's
So
on the table.
yeah, and it's an excuse to do a live stream too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for generally whatever we want to do live stream wise.
Perfect.
Um,
That works for me.
I mean, as long as our schedules can line up, because that's the real
That's the
that's the
that's
real kicker
my
usually. Who the hell is
gosh.
messaging me?
Yeah. No, yeah. Getting us to get her on the same page to be available at the same night, like we're missing Jason, right?
Yeah,
And
and he's
then
been here the whole time.
yeah, and last time too, like every time that I've been able to do one, it was either you or Jason that was available. It would just go
Yeah, we're
back and
keeping the
forth.
streak alive.
Yeah, for a year
And I
now.
think, yeah, and I think last time it was you and Jason. I was in the chat
Yeah,
virtually the
yeah,
entire time.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just couldn't join.
yeah.
And I
Exactly.
think I joined by voice like 5 minutes after you guys wrapped.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So it was just bad timing.
Yeah, it was.
So
Well, yeah, no, I'm totally up for doing more of these. Hopefully, we can kind of fix it out and get all three of us because we haven't done that in years, and go from there. But
yeah, it's been way too long.
it's crazy how much time has gone by since then. Although the last year and a half has been really weird with everything, so
What can I say?
we appreciate that, Jason. All right, so I think that's a good time to wrap it up. So thank you all for joining us. Glad, Jeff, that you were able to join us for the first time. Jason, as always, so you're always a pleasure. Next time we'll get you on here. We need to see
That's good.
what was the, what did there was a description of Jason from a while ago. Where was that?
What?
There was a description of Jason from a while ago.
In the chat?
Yeah,
Like in the stream chat?
the handsome ginger guy with glasses. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're wrapping, but we might still be in voice chat when you get back from taking your dog out. So heads up.
Yeah, that might work.
Yeah.
I need to grab a little something to eat, but I could probably just keep this on and kind of going.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be headed to sleep and not super long.
Oh, that's true too, eh?
Work in the AM. I mean, I'm probably still good for like 40, 45 minutes, maybe.
Okay, that sounds good.
So,
Perfect. All right, well, this is a good time to end it. So thank you all for watching. Thanks again, Kevin, for joining me.
yeah, thank you for having me. And thanks for everybody chatting. It's always fun when there's questions and,
Yeah,
things like that.
it keeps things interesting. It keeps us going. That's another thing too. We have
Yeah.
something to talk about all the time.